since I have a couple Muslims on my page that take the time to respond positively and are good people, I think I'll do a video about how Islam is one of the more pro-scientific religions. A lot of the things mentioned in the Quran are actually pretty feasible, if not outright true. When they say that human beings were made from earth and water, and that the jinn were made from fire and air, this is similar to Genesis, where Adam was forged from the ground, but I like the way the Quran mentions it, because mankind is basically just carbon and water. The human body is something like 70% water, and the rest is a carbon-based material, i.e. earth. So, when I explain this to my girlfriend, I go, funnily enough, what does that make, man? What do you get when you mix water and soil? You get mud. And she was not surprised one bit by that. She goes, yeah, that'd be a good way to describe human beings, as mud. But what do you get when you mix fire and air? Well, you get smoke. And that's why a lot of spirits seem like misty forms. They seem like these phantasms of airy mist. I don't even know, airy mist, I guess, because that's what jinn are. They are fire and air, and their heat of their emotions and their demonic energy mixed in with the air makes smoke. So that's all pretty reasonable. I'm not saying that Islam is the true religion. I don't know that for certain. But what I am saying is that Islam gets a lot of things right. And, when I give out my religious convictions, it's not because I'm trying to convert you. It's not that I'm trying to, lead you down that path, because I personally don't think there is such a path. I do not believe that my way is the way to God, specifically, because I am just as lost as you are. I am not any smarter than any of you. I am not any more righteous or talented. I just bother to take my knowledge and my righteousness and do something with it. I bother to think about things. But anybody could do that. It's just not just anybody does do that. The will to do it is what it takes. So it's not that you can't do it, it's that you won't do it. And that's what makes you evil. You're not evil because you're incapable. You're evil because you don't want to. You don't want to be good. You don't want things to get better. And that's despicable. But, it's hard to get people to realize that. That, you have the potential already. But if you don't want to do it, you're not going to do it. No, there's nothing anybody can say to stop you. And it's useless to try. It's useless to try to convert people to the right way, especially when you're in the dark yourself. So I'm not going to tell you what to believe, but I am going to tell you why things are the way they are, and it's partially your own fault. And I will tell you that if there is a life after death, you probably will not have a happy existence. If you won't burn in hell, you'll just live an empty vessel, an empty shell of a man that will wander the spaceways without purpose, without drive, without togetherness with God, and that's the way it is. And, I invoke the name Yahweh with confidence and certainty that that is the true God. Not because I necessarily believe in Christianity or Judaism, but because, to me, and from what I know about Yahweh, it makes the most sense. It makes the most sense to worship a God that is about justice and, punishing the wicked and promises to come back and smite everything. That to me seems the most, it brings the most peace to my life. It brings the most comfort knowing that there is a God just as angry as I am, if not angrier, and will do something with that anger. But I am not denouncing Islam by any means. I think Islam is a wonderful religion, and it pains me that, they're not more organized. They're separated by two major groups, very similar to Christianity's Catholicism and Protestants. And they're the Shiites and Sunnis, I believe. And I don't know a whole lot about Islam, but what I do know is there's a lot of similarities between them and all the other major religions. And there's no reason to think that Islam is some kind of exotic, weird religion that you could never conceive just because you live in the West. I mean, yeah, their culture is different, but, you know, in essence, their religions really aren't. And it's just the fact that Judaism and Christianity have a much more prominent liberal sect that allows them to pretty much just say whatever they want to say and proclaim themselves as Christians and Jews, and we just take their word for it. You know, Islam is not like that. Islam does not just let you go around calling yourself Muslim and then not doing anything Islamic. So, in that regard, I actually have more respect for Islam in that it takes itself seriously. But, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say bad things about Muslim people, because they are good people, and they have a good religion, and they got a firm head on their shoulders. Am I saying they're always right? No, nobody's always right. But they're 99% of the time right, just like Jim Prophet is. So, that's all I have to say.